You must have it all figured out. It's easy for you to say you never experience fear and doubt. These were just some of the things that a couple of clients were expressing to me over the span of our coaching sessions. And one of the things that I always say to them is some of the most successful people that I know, including myself, still experience fear and doubt. Success, just because you succeed in something, just because you make a lot of money, does not equivalent that you never experience fear, does not equivalent that you never experience self-doubt. Doubt and confidence can exist simultaneously, but there is a difference as to which voice you will actually act on. I think Layla Hermosi said this, and she was just like, even to this day, running acquisition.com, I still have the voices in my head that is going, am I equipped for this? Can you really do this? Can you take more on? And the thing is, I don't think those voices will ever go away. We are humans, our brains are wired for safety. And at the end of the day, all our brain wants to do is keep us safe. If you're new here, my name is Anna Rogers, and I decided to create content on YouTube. I usually create content on Instagram, but felt the need to challenge myself to create longer form content. And to be honest, I decided to do something crazy. Over the next 30 days, I'm committing to making a video every single day, which to be honest sounded like a good idea when I first started it, but here we are. So I wanted to talk about something that I think is a big misconception that people have. They're like, once I achieve this goal, once I get here, I will feel more confident. I will show up more. I will actually put in the effort. But actually, what will get you the success, what will get you the confidence is you doing the work and putting in the reps, even when there are voices in your head that are saying you can't do this. Even when your fear is so big and so powerful and you might puke on stage. This was literally me last September. I was minutes away from going up on stage and speaking in front of 1,000 women. And I remember thinking to myself, Tom goes, just have fun, babe. And I remember looking at him and going, just have fun, just have fun. I was just like, okay, easy for you to say. My husband is a natural. If you meet him, he can charm the heck out of anyone. And there I was going, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to throw up. I think I need to pee. I'm all mic'd up. I'm just like, what am I doing? And you know what? I went up on stage in spite of the fear, in spite of the doubts, in spite of that little voice in my head saying, you can't do this. And that experience changed something in me fundamentally because it showed me that I can do hard things. It showed me that my story and the impact that I'm here to make is bigger than the fear and the doubts. Because if you saw me 2 years prior, you wouldn't believe that I was the same person on stage, because 2 years prior, I would get nervous speaking in Zoom rooms. I would have to write my question on a piece of paper before I would unmute myself in case I forgot. In case I forgot my question. A, who forgets their question? But B, I was just that nervous. And yet, I was able to get up on stage and speak and share my story in front of 1,000 women. Was I scared? Yes. Was I doubting myself? 100% yes. But I still did it. And I think a lot of the times people stop themselves from taking the action, from doing the thing, from actually believing what is possible in their lives because of the fear, because of the doubt. One of the best explanations that I've heard about the voices in our heads is, I think this was from the surrender experiment. Correct me if I'm wrong. I completely forgot. But the voices in our head, our subconscious, is essentially like a roommate. And this roommate is living rent free in our heads. It's there because of conditioning, it's there because of how we were raised. where we are exposed, you know, and if we are not careful, we mistake the voices in our head as us. This is me. Therefore, I am fearful. I am doubtful. I cannot do this. But actually, if you start thinking of it as an external being, as someone who's literally living rent free in your head, all of a sudden you go, oh, I don't have to listen to this crazy person. I don't have to believe the things that she is saying. Because at the end of the day, we are wired for safety. Our brains is literally just trying to keep us safe. And so when it is saying things like, you can't do this, you are not the type of person who speaks on stages, it's just protecting me. It doesn't know that it is safe. It doesn't know what I am capable of. But a lot of the times, we let these voices in our heads make our decisions, rule our lives, stop us from actually living the life that we were meant to live. I can't even begin to express what my life would be like if I had given in to these voices. Because growing up, I'm not supposed to have this life. This life that I live now, I've been traveling the world for almost 11 years. We're currently here in Bali in the villa that we just bought in cash. I'm able to travel when I want. I have businesses that I am in love with. I have a mission in my heart that is like, I know I was called to do. And yet I shouldn't have this life because I come from the Philippines. The odds were stacked against me. I'm from a third world country. No one in my family was doing big, crazy things. Entrepreneurship is not something that I magically inherited. No, none of these things existed when I was growing up. I didn't know women were out there making millions. And when I started taking risks, when I started going, this can't be my life, I was meant for more, the voices in my head were loud. The voices in my head were constant. The voices in my head were going, you can't do that. People like us don't do this. And yet I took action. And yet I did the scary thing. Why? Because I know that confidence does not happen because it doesn't just magically appear. Confidence happens as a result of the actions that we are taking. If you imagine action equals confidence, but a lot of the times people wait to feel confident until they take action. And so they're in this cyclical cycle that never actually happens because they're waiting. I'm going to take action once I feel confident, once I feel confident in speaking on camera, once I'm going to start making content, once I feel confident speaking on camera. I'm just like, do you know that you're never going to feel confident speaking on camera if you don't just do the damn thing? Like, I know that writing is my strong point. I am the type of person who, if you give me a computer, I would much rather write my words and express myself that way. Video is not my strong suit. And so this is me stretching myself. This is me expanding my capacity because I know that this is just a muscle that I will build. I know that the first 30 videos that I will create on this channel probably going to suck. But I know also that one day I'm going to look back at them and watch them and go, my God, she was so brave. My gosh, she was awesome for trying. I'm so grateful for her for never actually giving in to the self-doubt, for never actually giving to the fear. When we give in to our subconscious, the voices in our heads, what happens? We miss out on the life that deep inside you are meant for. And I know this because I work with a lot of really powerful women. And a lot of powerful women, they are just like, I know I am meant for big things, but I just don't see it yet. I'm like, if you just don't see it yet, but yet you feel it in your heart and you feel it in your soul, I was like, it's there. You just need to back it up with belief. At the end of the day, that's what makes successful people. It's belief in yourself, belief in what is possible. Because if you condition your mind to believe in something, then no matter what obstacle comes your way, it'll make it happen. It'll find solutions. So if in your mind, let's say in your mind, you're like, no doubt I am meant to have a 7-figure business, or no doubt I am meant to become wealthy and change my family's financial lineage, or no doubt I am meant to have an amazing marriage, whatever it is, right? Whatever you believe in, no matter what setback you encounter, I just realized the light is flickering. No matter what setback you encounter, you're going to find a way to make it happen. Why? Because your brain is optimized for that, because your brain believes, oh yeah, it's going to happen. So this is just a roadblock. This is just one of those things that you have to go through in order to get to the other side. But a lot of times, our heads are so noisy. We think that self-doubt is actually a sign that we're on the wrong path. We think that fear is actually a sign that we shouldn't be doing this big thing. And so we stay safe. We play it safe. We don't take actions. One of the biggest things that when I look back at my life, I'm so grateful at young Anna. I say this all the time. I'm like, I'm so grateful for her because she moved in spite of the fear, in spite of the doubt, in spite of the odds that were stacked against her, simply because I refused for this to be my life. I refused to be stuck in the Philippines, making $1,000 every single month, working 13-hour days. I refused to. I was just like, I want an extraordinary life. Did I know all of this was possible? Absolutely not. In the beginning, it was more about, okay, let me survive. And then after that, I'm just like, okay, let me figure out how to thrive. I'm like, the internet, one of the most beautiful things about the internet is it shows you what is possible. When we started our second business, we grew, and I remember at the time we were publishing blogging income reports. So our first business was an online travel blog. Our second business was a course. And I remember at that time, we were one of the first people to produce these like blogging income reports. And if you know what Asian culture is like, you know that that goes against the grain of what we were taught not to do. We were taught not to brag, to be humble, not to talk about money. And so writing those income reports felt stretchy, felt uncomfortable. What if people judge me? What are people going to say? But I knew that if it inspired at least one person, if at least one person read those and say, wow, I didn't know that was possible. And one person was able to move in spite of the fears, in spite of the doubts, move past those and take action on their dreams, then I knew it was worth it. Then I knew it was worth putting myself out there like that. And this is one of the reasons that I choose to create these videos, is because even if just one person listens to this and says, damn, Anna came from the Philippines. She comes from a third world country. English isn't even her first language. And yet she was able to build 4 businesses. She was able to go from literally sleeping on strangers' floors, hustling her butt off for $2.50, which was really my hourly rate when I was working in the Philippines, to creating this life. Then I can do it too. Because once we see the possibilities and we train our brain to, rather than to fall into comparing ourselves, we fall into the, dang, she was able to do it. Then all of a sudden, you move past those doubts and fears. The doubts and the fears will never go away. That's called being human. We are literally wired to feel this way. But what can you do? You can outwork your doubt by putting in the reps. You can outwork your fear until your body literally knows it is safe, until you can pattern it in your body that go, it is safe. Like I am waiting for the day so that I go on stage and I'm like, yeah, my body's like, yeah, you got this. We can do this. We've done this before. I'm waiting for that day. But until then, I will just keep putting in the reps. Until then, I'm allowing myself to feel nervous and not judging myself for it. I'm allowing myself to feel scared whenever I'm about to make a big, scary move in business, in life. Every single day, when I think about my big dreams, when I think about my goals, I get a little scared. And if your dreams and your goals don't scare you, that means you're playing small. We have one life on earth. Are you actually willing to call your shot? Are you actually willing to put yourself in the arena, or are you always going to be sitting in the sidelines waiting for your turn? Because that's what the fear and the doubt and the voices who say you can't do it, that's what they're going to do. They're going to keep you in the sidelines. But the most successful people, they are in the arena getting punched in the face over and over again until they can stand up and go, all right, let's go. Next round. And so what I wanted to really get across in this video is just because someone is successful, just because someone has achieved these things, it doesn't mean that they are not going through the exact same things that you are. And so I want you to listen to this and I want you to normalize these feelings. Normalize the feelings of, dang, can I really do this? Can I really hold this? And then choose to act on your belief instead. Rather than acting on the fear and the doubt and letting that stop you, choose to go the other way. Choose to act with confidence. Choose to show up with certainty until your mind starts believing it. Until your mind goes, okay, we got this. I know what we're doing now. I know what we're working towards. You have put in the reps. And so in these videos, my husband said to me the other day, he said to me this morning, he was just like, I watched your first video. He was just like, you're such a natural. And I was just like, I am not a natural. I was just like, it takes a lot for me to create these videos. But if one person watches this and goes, she's moving in spite of the fear, in spite of the doubt, in spite of the voices in her head that's saying, who cares? No one wants these videos. I'm still moving anyways. And that one person is inspired to take action in their lives, then it'll be so worth it. So if this resonated with you, if you've ever experienced fear and doubt, comment in the chat box. Like, I'd love to know how you got over them, if you still get them. Let's start having honest conversations, because I think a lot of the people in this space, in the coaching industry sometimes, is they're not willing to share the fact that they too feel these. A lot of the times there is a lot of pedestaling and saying, this is where I am, look at everything that I've done, versus I'm a human too. I'm navigating these feelings too. You're not alone. Let's do this together. And for me, that's the type of meaningful leadership that I admire. That's the type of things that encourage me, because it normalizes. Once we normalize the doubt, the fears, the not feeling good enough, and we still show up, then we start rewiring and reprogramming that until our brains actually will start acting on your new patterns, acting on the uncertainty, acting on your certainty and the unshakable doubt that you start to build. But you're only going to get there if you're willing to take action and move past the icky, gooey feelings. If you're willing to actually still put yourself out there, no matter how uncomfortable it is, no matter if it drains you, it scares you, you're scared of the judgment, whatever it is, because we all feel it. Everyone goes through it. And so the question is, are you going to push through it? So like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.